When the lights are the brightest and all eyes are on you, can you live up to the pressure? So what are you waiting for? Time to take center stage.
Hey, what's up, everybody? The Joe Vegas here, and I'm back with another Center Stage Prospect Spotlight. Today, I have one of Canada's finest. If you guys haven't seen his EPK or some of his other content, he was also a practice squad member for the Canadian FIBA national team. This is my guy Avi, aka Tornado. How's it going, man?
Good. I'm good. How you doing, Chris?
Can't complain. Oh, see, look, you're using like the real name. You're trying to get me out here. It's all good. It's out there already. So, we're not going to do that, though.
Hey, we're having a bit of fun.
Hey, you're right. But all right. So, I've wanted to have you on this thing for a long time. I know we tried to do things in the past, but unfortunately, technical difficulties kind of just like mess things up. But can you just, first off, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Who is Tornado?
All right, cool. So outside of 2K, I'm just one guy who, works hard. I'm a fleet driver for a dealership currently. I'm an aspiring police officer here in Canada, works really hard achieving his goals. And, I'm doing whatever I can to make it out. On 2K, I'm known as Tornado. I'm a power forward. That's my main position. Can also play multiple other positions, center, played sharp in the past, a little bit of point guard actually. And, I'm just Canadian, everybody loves a Canadian. And on top of that, I'm a guy who speaks three languages, I was, three, I was born in actually Israel. That's where I was born, and my family was actually born in Russia, and they immigrated to Israel, and that's where my brother and I were born. But we moved to Canada when I was 7, turning 8, and lived in Winnipeg, Manitoba, actually considered one of the coldest actually provinces in Canada, and then moved to Toronto when I was, I want to say, going into high school, so 12, 13 years old. And just a guy who's trying to make it out, make a living for himself, and out here hooping on and off the court,
No, man, I love it. And, one, to see that you're such well-traveled, and, the fact that you can speak 3 languages. Again, I'm kind of jealous. I can speak one. I can speak no, I can't. I can speak one. I can barely speak that one at that. So, respect to you. Maybe you can give me some lessons. But just going into, you've had a pretty illustrious 2K career. You've done a lot, especially just this year. Can you tell me how you got your start in the 2K community and what brought you to 2K as a whole?
Yeah, my first ever 2K was 2K10. I think Kobe was on the cover, actually. Rest in peace, Kobe, man. Amazing player. I started in 2K10, started playing game mode. I think it was called Crew, which is basically Pro-Am now. You probably know what it is. That game mode was amazing, but, obviously had its difficulties at that time. But, I just love the idea of having your own player. You create your own player, how you want him. And you can compete against others, other creative players. It's always fun to play with NBA teams. But with that being said, I always wanted to go far in basketball myself. Injuries held me back, maybe my height, I'm only like 5'10" and a half, held me back a little bit. But other than that, just a little bit. Other than that, I played Pro-Am, started playing Pro-Am, but before that I played a little bit of Park. 2K17 was strictly Park, played point guard, mastered my skill, developed my IQ. Some people say you can't develop IQ, but hey, 2K is a whole different lifestyle. It's a game, So, got into Pro-Am heavy. I think it was end of 2K19, 2K20. Got Met up with some great guys. Got my boy Delusion, who by the way got drafted. He checked gaming last season. And ever since then, I kind of, decided to climb the stairs. I wanted to keep going. I went to the draft last year, and damn, I loved it. It was an amazing experience. And, watching all these people, so-called my friends or my teammate, walk up there, shake BD's hand, hug him, put on that hat, have an intro. I'm like, damn, I want to be there so bad. I wanted to be there so bad. And, I've been striving this whole pre-draft, working hard, dropping content, you know, um, exploring other options in the sense of my game, what I can do work on, developing my game even better. And, here I am today.
Good. I mean, it's great. And, it's nice to see how far you've come from, 2K10, the crew, all the way till now. And I know that, because I had the chance to actually meet you, in person at the draft last year. So
Yeah.
I definitely got to, see a little bit of Tornado, and it's nice to actually get to know you a little bit more. I know we've been in contact and doing this, but it's still nice to have this sort of, conversation. And, just from there, I automatically was able to see like, wow, this guy is very well spoken. He carries himself very well. He's such a supportive teammate. You flew from Canada all the way to New York just to support your teammate. And now, like, if I don't know if that is, camaraderie or support, I really don't know what it is. So,
Yeah.
much respect to you, man. And, so, kind of wanted to go a little bit. You touched on a lot of stuff there, but, as far as the draft goes,
Mhm.
like, do you feel that the draft was a big motivation, like that being there in person helped push you and motivated you towards, this pre-draft season?
Yeah, honestly, I've spoken about this to a few other people personally. I had a lot of stuff going on in my life last year, and just being there with at the draft alongside, my beautiful girlfriend Stephanie, who you met as well, and some others I've met as well, and it kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things. I'm like, this is more than just a game. This is life changing. It's life changing for others. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter. Like I'm 25, there's people who are in their 30s who are trying, there's people who are younger who are trying, but it's life changing in the sense where if you want it, you're going to go and get it, what, no matter what. And that's kind of what I wanted. Like I set myself this goal, like, you know, I want to be there. I want to walk up that stage, put on a hat, give damn shake BD's hand, give him a high five, whatever, a hug, whatever, and look in the camera, smile, and take a picture with him, and then walk out and meet my teammates. I wanted to. Obviously, COVID happened, and obviously the draft this year is not going to be live, as we know, in person. But it's still a great experience being in the pool. So it just shows that, my work ethic and everything is coming together slowly. It's not over yet, but
That's the truth. And I know we were like talking about the draft. You said you were there to support your teammate Delusion. Also a good friend of mine. Shout out to all the chats and everything that we have. That's my guy. But you know, you had the chance to see him drafted, and he had a season in 2K League where, of course, like it had its ups and downs. It was a struggling, like, especially the fact he went through a whole pandemic, things like that.
yeah.
Did Delusion teach you anything, or like, any lessons that really stuck with you about being a professional player?
Yeah, actually, throughout his season, he used to call me a lot, and we spoke. Other than the two kilos, like, "Hey, how's your day? Like, what are you doing today?" And he taught me. He's like, this is more than a game. You have to be professional. He taught me. I've always been punctual my whole life. I'm always early, no matter what, to any meeting, any interview, any even work. I'm always early. But he taught me. He's like, you know what? When you wake up, you got to know this is what you want. You can't just be in it and say once you're in it, you're like, damn, like I don't want this anymore. Because it's more than just a game. At the end of the day, it's a professional esport. It's a league where there's thousands, hundreds, if not 100,000s of people watching you. And, he told me, like, if you make it, just be prepared to work hard. And, I'm already working hard, but I know I can reach even a higher step in that. I can reach even higher. So even if I set all those career goals, this was one of my main goals too. And I know once if I get in, it's only up from there. It's only up from there. And he would tell me too, he's like, you have a lot of potential, and he used to tell me, like, he learned a lot from me. And it's crazy. He's the one who got traffic because I didn't really go for it. But same thing here, he taught me a lot of good things. And even when he came back, we had a few chit chats, and it's just more of a mental game too. It's how bad you want it at the end of the day. You can say you want it, but you don't show that you want it. You don't show that you want it. The next guy is going to show that he wants it more than you. Like my favorite quote is, um, it goes like, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, and that's what I live by every day. And, as quote unquote underrated as I am, I feel like I can compete. I've proven I can compete at a high level. You just got to make sure the right people are watching, you know?
No, I definitely get that. And, much respect to Delusion for, helping you learn those lessons, and also for you helping teach him, because of course that's what friendship's about, is helping each other, and you want to keep growing, and keep pushing each other forward. So it's nice to see that happen. And now you kind of use this magic word, and this is where I kind of, I want to bring it back. You thought you're going to get away with it, but nope. All right. So you use this underrated word, right? And of course, like, now we're going to kind of go back into all the content and things that are going on in the community, these tier lists, these mock drafts. And to be quite honest, I've seen you on a few tier lists. At first, you weren't on any. Then I've seen you on a few, like smidgen. I've seen you maybe drafted in one mock draft.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel? Like, do you care about this list? Is this something like you feel that you should be somebody who's known by everyone? You should be getting more respect. What's going on through your mind?
You know what? If I'm 100% honest with you, I don't care for it. You know why? Because those lists can be subjective. It could be somebody likes this person there and he feels like he fits there. But at the end of the day, the only person that, should matter to you is the coach or GM. They're going to look you in the eye and be like, you know what? You're my guy. Because I like you as a person, not only as a player, but as a person. And I don't really care for those lists because people have seen what I can do on the court. I've had, people tweet at me, damn, like this guy's good, blah, blah, blah. I made a list here. I didn't make the next list. I don't lose sleep over it. Maybe deep, deep, deep down, it's kind of like, what can I do better? But at the end of the day, those lists to me don't matter because at the end of the day, everybody still watches you play, right? They can say, hey, this guy is good, but this guy's not good. But hey, we're all power forwards. We do the exact same thing, Joe. We do the exact same thing. We swing, we hit our open shots. We get a rebounds. We make a big play. What more do you want from us? Doesn't make sense that this guy, he just played quote unquote with better people than I have played, and he deserves much respect. Sure. He played with known players. I've played with not so known players, but I've made a name for myself by doing that as well. That's why I feel like, those lists don't really affect me because at the end of the day, I'm giving it my all, on the court and off the court.
No, and I respect that. And, love the answer. Obviously, you're media trained, you've been through it, so it's not like you're falling for the bait. You're right. It is up to the GMs. It is up to the coaches. They're the ones who make the decisions.
Exactly.
It's subjective. We get it. There's only so much you can watch. And even then, you can't watch everybody all the same time and up and down. No, it is unfortunate, but it is what it is. But, like, going into a little bit more, and like I'm kind of bouncing around, you're kind of talking about coaches and GMs, and of course I know that with you, and the reason how I'm bringing this back around, I promise it's a segue, I promise it's something, but the reason I'm bringing it back around is because you were selected by a GM and team organization, Magic Gaming, for their prospect badge. So, for those who don't know exactly what that is, the prospect badge is something that happened with the team tournaments. Is with, though if a player doesn't win the team tournament, a team is allowed to select one player that they feel, belongs in the draft pool, that they think will represent them, and they can select them to be in the draft pool. Of course, that tournament, like, look, I'm just saying, if we're talking about hype, everybody knew who Tornado was. He came in like a tornado, just left a wreck everywhere. And though you didn't win, you carried your team, you put them on your back, you put a show, which, pretty much, hey, you forced Magic Gaming's hand. You're like, wow, this guy is great. And they wound up giving you the draft spot. How did that feel when you got that call?
Honestly, and I'm going to be 100% honest, that day my girlfriend and I got into an argument. We got into an argument, and then I checked my phone, and I have that DM from Jonah. And I think he asked for my phone number, my cell phone number, and I gave him it. So, a lot was going through my head at that time. My girlfriend, all of a sudden, we're all like best friends again, like nothing happened, relationships. But I got the phone call, and he's like, hey, we're going to be using the prospect badge on you. And I think my heart dropped. I was like, I pulled over, first of all. I pulled over the car, and I put him on speaker. And I'm like, wow, like my hard work is paying off. Like, I set this goal this year that I want to be in the pool. Like, no matter what, I'll do whatever I can to be in that pool. And, I seen Jonah, he watched us play in the Elite Four in the finals, and, he felt like I deserved it. And I watched the stream back, to encounter what I did wrong, what we could have done a little bit better as a team. And I was just reading the chat and what Jonah was saying, and like that made me feel even more motivated, because now it's more like, I don't want to let this guy down. I don't want to let this guy down. He put faith and trust in me, right? And I want to do the same. I'm going to give him all I got, all I got to show him that I'm motivated and dedicated. And for anyone else, that they know that, hey, like this Tornado guy is not just a player, he's the real deal, off the court, personality, character. Like, he's your guy, because as we say, anybody can play the game, but what else do you bring to the table?
And that's smart there, and first off, please, I'm gonna have to, put a timestamp here or something, or like whatever, because we're gonna have to clip that part. I'm gonna have to send that to Jonah, because I'm sure he's gonna love those. They're great words. They're kind words, and it's when you can play for a coach or somebody like that and give it your all. I think. I mean, I'm not a coach. I'm not a GM. Hey, if it happens one day, who knows? But if I can have a player that way who's willing to run through a wall or do whatever they can for me, I'm all in. And I want to do the same thing for that player and make sure they're successful. So, I'm sure he's going to love that. And just, just the fact you're doing that. And hey, even though you lost, you still wound up winning, which is, great to see in the end. But you kind of talked about in the beginning of that is you got into a fight with your girlfriend. And so, of course, we've seen some of your content that you've done. I saw this great video that you did where it was actually you and your girlfriend, Steph, that, had a YouTube video that talked about, pretty much what it's like to be in a relationship and, while pursuing the 2K league and, these dreams, and pretty much how it affects your loved ones, the people around you. Can you tell me a little bit of like why you decided to make that content, as well as what Steph's, how Steph has helped you during this entire process?
So firstly, I was talking to her about it, and I was like, you know what, we got to think outside the box, together. And it's more like we can tell everybody and show everybody how, first of all, we're Canadian, so we're different. Everybody said we're different. But anyways, jokes aside, we can show everybody how our relationship, can kind of mesh with the league and how it also can affect it. And, when we made that video, I just felt like it was really, really important for other prospects to see, because again, I'm not 18 or 19. I'm 25, been in a relationship with her for actually 4 years now. I think our 4 year was about a week and a half ago or something along those lines on the 14th.
I hope you got her something at least, like,
We'll talk about
like,
that later.
okay, but continue, please.
Yeah. So we wanted to show people and prospects and even some GMs and coaches that being in a relationship and when you're away for 6 months once you make the league can be hard. It can definitely be hard. But if you truly find other ways like interpersonal communication skills or other ways to mesh, you'll be fine. But I went through ups and downs with her. It was hard, don't get me wrong, it was hard. you know of course, she's a law student, she's going to law school soon, and me going for the 2K league, she's going to be away. If I get drafted, I'm going to be away. It's going to be really, really difficult. But we just wanted to show that no matter what, we still love each other and we can fight through adversity. And her support has been unbelievable. Like, she goes above and beyond. Like, you know I'm not really, for example, I'm not really a Mac guy. I'm a PC guy. She has a Mac, and she got like iMovie and all those editors. And like, for example, if my editor is not like available for the weekend or whatever, I'm like, hey babe, can you do this? And she's like, yeah, sure. She drops everything and edits the video. And she's good at that. Like, I didn't even know she's good at that. She edited me a video within 15 minutes and it was already rendering like this. So I'm like, damn, it just shows to me that she's caring and she's supportive and she just wants me to succeed. But she also wants me to succeed for us, for her and myself, for the future. Because obviously, not throwing any spoilers, because she may watch this video in the future, who knows. But obviously we're going to get engaged in the future, and she wants kids, I want kids, I want to start a family. But right now is the hardest part of our lives, where we gotta work to achieve that. We want to be able to put food on the table for our kids. I didn't grow up the best. Parents weren't rich. Same with her. She's, I don't want to speak a lot about her, but her mom is divorced. So it's hard, but we don't want to be that. We want to be better for our kids. So she supports me, I support her, and that's how we coexist.
And that's awesome. And she sounds like a keeper. The fact that, I don't know her editing background, but she learned how to edit. She does the edits.
On the fly.
She is the real MVP. You better look. I'm just saying. I know we said the future, but you better do the thing, and you better. Man, look, Steph, we about to get you another gift, all right? Because this is what's about to, no, let me stop. But no, I love the support. I love the fact that it's nice to have somebody there who's, pushing you on instead of trying to hold you back or push you back from your dreams. And the fact you have that, it speaks so much. And, a big respect to you and her. And I hope that, things can progress forward and the happily ever after can happen. But I know, like, again, you're talking about the content she's helping you with videos. You have been on a content tear this pre-draft. I've seen you do so much. You've been dropping, like, just your game tapes. You just dropping different types of stuff, from Q&As to the, stuff with your girlfriend to, even a video of a Facebook group that you've been a part of, and, even more. Can you tell me why you decided to go so hard with content, and what's the deal with it?
Well, the way I see it is this, I can drop content about myself every day. Everyone will know me probably more than I know myself. But I want people to kind of know why I do what I do. Like, I love helping people, for example, because I never had the best high school experience. I used to get bullied in high school, man. I used to get shoved into locker rooms. I used to get bullied. I didn't have the best high school experience, but I grew from that, and that's why, for example, the Facebook video, there's 84,000 members and there's maybe like 4 mods, and I'm one of them, because they trust me to, help other people when they need help, assistance, and I love doing that. That's why, I always wanted to become, for example, a police officer too, because I love helping people, and helping people has taught me, you're going to give something. You're not always going to get something in return, never, sometimes never, but out of the kindness of your heart, when you help someone else may see that, someone else may see that and recognize you. And, one day you're going to be in need of help, and that someone else is going to help you because he's seen how hard you've worked and helped that other person, and I'm not the type of guy to like want things back. I just love helping people because I grew up in that nature. Treat people how you want to be treated, you know and that's why I help other people, and that's why I make content, because I feel like content kind of like helps me also get out more out there. You know what I'm saying? It helps people to kind of get to know why I do what I do. you know Maybe if it's not even content about my gameplay for 2K, because that's a little bit different, but it's content about, again, the Facebook group or my girlfriend, is people kind of get to understand my personality and my character and why I was raised that way. And I feel like also with doing that content, like I love it. Like it's a good feeling, like you're doing something and people are actually like hitting me up like, hey, I really enjoyed that video. I can't wait for the next one. And maybe I'm not getting so many views right now, maybe 50 to 100 and 5, 10, 15 likes. But, in my mindset is, if I'm going to be consistent with it in a year or two, that those 400, 500 subscribers I got now could be 500,000 subscribers. And people are going to be like so excited to watch what I'm going to drop out next. For example, like, Chris Move, for example, who was big lead. Nobody even knew what he looked like. He just dropped content like of his game. But then he started dropping content of what he looks like, and people loved him even more. And that's what I feel like. I feel like my content can go various ways, like a tree. It's always going to have branches and it's going to keep growing. That's what I'm striving for.
All right, cool. And I love that. And like again, you're talking to the content guy. I love content. The fact you've been going this crazy, of course, I'm a fan of yours. And so you're correct. You're 100% correct. Is like you have to get yourself out there, by putting content out, doing things that keeps you relevant and keeps you in people's like minds. It keeps, oh, tornado. Oh, wow, this is cool. It also gets to show off a different side of you.
Exactly.
You kind of brought it up before. It's not just 2K. Obviously they want to know the person that they're drafting. They want to, fans want to know the person they're rooting for. And, especially brands, companies, etc. They want to know the person they're about to invest all this money in. So the fact that you're able to create this content that is diverse, that's still around 2K, really does show a lot. And, I look forward to seeing some of the stuff that you do put out and, some of the next stuff that you have coming up. But I know we are like, telling a little bit long, but it's all good. We're having great conversation here. I have a couple more for you and then we'll wrap it up. So I want to kind of get back to FIBA. So you had the honor of being a practice squad member for the Canadian national team. Can you tell me how that, occurred and what it was like, that whole process?
Yeah. I remember when the emails were coming out for like Team USA and Dominican PR, and I was just in the back of my head, I was like, hey, anything happening with Team Canada? And then I seen Shane. Shane got like the managing of Team Canada spot, and then he hired Sam Pham, the head coach of Bucks. So I was like, wow, cool. And then next, I think a week later, I got a DM from Shane or Sam, and Sam was like, hey, what's your email? I'm like, okay, this is my email, you know. And then a couple of days later, and I get an email. It's like, hey, you've been selected, blah blah blah, for an interview process with Team Canada. And my eyes are like they blew up. I was like, damn, I was like, okay, that's cool. But then what actually hit me the most, ready? When Shane sent out that tweet saying only 23 Canadians got that.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, 23, and I was one of the 23. And then I see like my other friends, who are also right now in the pool and they're Canadians and they did not receive one. And I was like, wow, like that means I must have been on the radar for a while and I'm doing something right, that, you know, they're giving me one of the 23 Canadians an interview to see how I do to be potentially on the final 7 roster. And that meant a lot to me. Meant a lot to me. I think the first thing I did was call my girlfriend. I'm like, holy shit, look at this email. Look at this email. And she was so happy for me. And, you know, I remember going in that interview and I was so energized. Like I think at some point I was shaking because I was so hyped. And I think I came in there and I killed that interview. You know, unfortunately, again, there's only 7 spots, and with everything going on, you know, I was still grateful to be a part of the practice squad. And I practiced, I think we had 5 or 6 practices, I think. And I think I've only missed 1 maybe. But other than that, you know, I was there, you know, I had fun, you know, and, you know, Sam Pham, great coach. Straight up, he told me what I did wrong. He had his little video sent out to us and what he wanted us to do. I loved it because every practice I came there was something to prove, you know, not to prove that, you know, I'm better than someone, but to prove to myself that I can improve. And that was my mindset going in. And I think almost after every practice, I would message Sam. I'm like, hey, Sam, like, how do you think I did there? What could have I done better? And he would tell me straight up, like, for example, you did good here, but I wanted you a little bit better here in that sense. And that's what kind of improved my game going into next gen and, you know, what I strived and hooped with other people. But man, that experience was phenomenal. And, you know, even though I wasn't playing or, you know, they make the final 7 roster, I remember when the FIBA games were happening, I was in that chat supporting Team Canada. I was spamming the flags. I was supporting. People were attacking me like, nah, screw Canada. And I'm like, man, I don't care. They're going to win. You know, they won a couple, they lost. They ended up losing day 2. But you know what? I supported them. And I know there was a lot of BS going on behind closed doors, but I made sure my guys, like Doug's one of my good friends, I made sure he was doing okay. I know he lost. He was really upset. I remember I FaceTimed him that day and we spoke for a good 30 minutes and I made sure he's doing fine. His mental is straight and, you know, would definitely live up to that experience again if I could.
No, and that's phenomenal that you had such an experience, even from a practice squad perspective, because of course, like sometimes with the practice squads, you're just there, your body, you're not doing much, but the fact that you're able to do, you know, you're able to practice, you're able to run, you're able to learn, and you, most importantly, you're able to capitalize on the entire opportunity speaks volumes. And it's like just talking about the hunger and like how you kept messaging Sam, doing everything to keep pushing yourself forward, that speaks volumes. And, you know, hopefully, you know, when FIBA comes back, I believe in March, you have another shot at that. And this time you can make that final 7 and prove that, hey, I was snubbed off this last roster. You better put me on this time. But all right, so a few more questions, you know, actually one more, then rapid fire, then we'll wrap it up. My question to you is, of course, there are 23 teams in the league so far. Of course, we'll go 22 because one team has a full roster already. Unfortunately, there's only so many starting spots. Would you be okay with having a 6-man role, you know, for a 2K League or opportunity, well, 2K League team or league team,
You know, I was thinking about that for a long time and I said, yeah, you know, I would, only because, you know, I bring more than just a player to the team, you know. People know that I'm really hardworking, you know, as you said, my content, like that shows for it. That's one thing, you know. I'm really like, I'm that glue guy, you know, like I'm always energetic. And as you can see, some league players and said that on my EPK, like they love playing with me, my communication skills. And it's always good to have that extra set of eyes, you know, always good to have that one guy who can also see something that, you know, players may not see. And, you know, when you have a great team and culture, when you have that culture within the team, you build that chemistry off the court. And me being a 6-man, and I guarantee I'll build that, because I don't even know maybe one person in this community who does not like me. Like everybody loves me because I don't do bad to no one in this community. I'm just a regular guy who, you know, loves helping people and competing. right? I don't do drama. I'll come to work every day. I'll be early. I love being early. That's just me, punctuality, hard work ethic. I'm going to give everything I got. I'm accountable too. As a six man, I feel like you have to be accountable, no matter what. You have to be
Accountable. Yeah.
accountable.
Because I was like, a cannibal. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was like,
No, accountable. Yeah, accountable. Because I feel like that's really, really important because, even if I practice, if I get drafted as a six man, even if I practice with a team and, I mess up there, but my teammate messes up too. I'm not gonna be like, hey man, you messed up. That means I can mess up. No, I'm gonna own up to my mistake, gonna take notes, watch film as a team together, or even by myself in my free time. And I'm gonna be working hard because I know it is so important for teams to again have off-court vibes as well, but also win. That's what they're all about. It's all about winning. But you want to have fun when you win. Like that's why when I used to watch the 2K League on the stage, they do something crazy. They stand out. They're like, "Oh, you can't guard me, bro!" And like they're going off. And that's that like energetic feeling that I bring to the table as well. you know. And aside from that, come on, man, who doesn't like a Canadian who can speak three other languages? Come on, think about it. Think about it.
Hey, I mean, hey, communication should not be your issue. That should not be a weakness.
No.
So, definitely respect that. All right, my last question before rapid fire, because you keep talking about stuff to keep popping into questions. Probably should have ended, but whatever. Screw it. It's my platform, baby. We do whatever we want. But I kind of want to talk about this EPK. And of course, we had Landis, who was able. I know your first one was Dex, but you wanted an additional one that had a little bit more, so you went to Landis. Hashtag I went to Landis, and he hooked you up with this great EPK. And I kind of want to talk about this first page. All right. What was your reaction when you first saw that and like the whole thing that he went, like the theme that he went for?
Honestly, when he first sent me that, I was like, you know what? I think it's time that Drake and I actually become related. Because hey, I got a fade. I fade my hair. Drake fades his hair. He's a little, darker skin than me. I'm a little paler on that side. But hey, I'm Canadian. He's Canadian. We can resemble a little. But no, on the real side, it was awesome. It gave me a laugh because it kind of shows to coaches and GMs, he can be funny, he can be humorous, but at the same time, he can also be professional. You can always have a great laugh, but when it's time to lock in, you gotta lock in. And I feel like that's what that first page showed. Like yeah, it was all fun and games, but then once you start scrolling through the second page, you're like, oh, okay, I didn't know about this guy. I didn't know, I didn't know he's from example from Toronto, or I didn't know he's 25, or I didn't know he finished a policing degree, and then you go on the next page and then you see all these vouchers from league players or potential league players, or even such as from yourself or my good friends. And then you go on the last page and then you read a little bit how I used to help the youth, what I went through in my life as well, with being bullied, how I fought through adversity as being like an international student, basically kid who, his English wasn't the best at that time, and kids, weren't as diverse as they are now. So I felt like that EPK, shout out to Landis, by the way, thank you again. But that EPK really, really brought some, it shed some light into who Tornado really, really is. I couldn't have asked for a better job. It was awesome. I really appreciate it. And I feel like, coaches or GMs, scouts, or even, people in the community will read that and they look at it and they're like, wow, like I didn't really know all those things about him. I just knew him as Tornado, a casual guy who plays 2K. But like now, when they read that, they're like, okay, like if I ever need something, maybe I can come to this guy. Never really spoken to him, but maybe he can help me out, help me get started from somewhere. And that makes me feel good. I already had a few people reach out to me. Some guy asked me for advice the other day. He's like, I see you like helping people. Or some other guy was like, hey, how do I join that Facebook group? Maybe I can find myself a team. Maybe then I'll build my brand and then come back to Twitter. It's, to me, that means the world. It means I'm doing something right, like I said. And that's what this EPK set off.
No, and honestly, like, I loved it. And, from, the hotline bling pose to, and as my camera just refocuses, but like, even just looking up at the top and looking at like the views photo where I see you and Drake sitting at the top, like, at first I was going to message Landis and I was going to be like, hey, Landis, you want to throw Bernie up there too? Might as well just have all three of you guys up there. But no, that's great. And I'm sure Landis would love to hear that you were so happy about his work. I know that I thought it was completely different. The way you went about the EPK, it's something that was revolutionary in the community and I loved it. But no, just to wrap it up, quick rapid fire question to get to know who Avi is, Tornado. And you ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right. Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite sport?
Basketball.
Favorite sport team?
Raptors.
Favorite type of music?
R&B.
One song that you can listen to for the rest of your life?
Any Drake song.
And you got to pick one. And one.
Pick one. Mob Ties.
Mob Ties? Okay. All right. Then, you just kind of struck me up because I started singing the song in my head. But all right. If you could have one person play you in your life movie, who would it be?
One person playing me in my life movie. Probably my girlfriend.
Wait, like you play you? Like physically, like the actor playing you?
Yeah. She'll be good at it.
I mean, she probably knows you better than most people. Hey.
Exactly.
Look, Steph is multi-talented. Maybe we can. All right, Steph, we'll see you on a big screen. We definitely. All right. And then, I mean, honestly, that's enough for me. That was a lot with that one. So, thank you so much, Avi, Tornado, my guy. Please, prospects, coaches, teams, if you're willing, if you're interested, you can reach out to my guy. The stuff will be in the bios below, as well as the links to his EPK, etc., all that stuff. Thanks again for joining us. And for all of you out there, thank you for watching the stream. Well, the show, because we're not a stream anymore, baby. I'm Nijo Vegas, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
So what are you waiting for? Time to take center stage.